there. Welcome, civilians. You've arrived at the home of civilized and thought-provoking commentary. Get ready for elevation, growth, and experience. I am the civilized woman.
Welcome back, civilians. I hope all is well. I hope your week is going well. Well, without further ado, we're going to get right into it. I'm going to be discussing Miss Gabrielle Union saying that 50-50 stance was a trauma response, so she no longer believes in 50-50. I'm going to go ahead and play a soundbite from a podcast that she did with Balanced Black Girl. And I had never heard of them before this. It was like looking this up, trying to find this interview that I heard of them. And so I'm going to put in the snippet about her talking about the 50-50, and then I'll come back with the rest of my commentary.
I famously said 50-50 or bust, right? And, and I meant that in every financially, spiritually, emotionally. And there's just a lot of days that I have 10% and I need him to be 9. There's days I don't have shit and I need him to be 100. And 50-50 is I'm not going to be vulnerable enough to trust you with 100% of anything. Not my heart, not my cash, not my my energy. And when I started to really address that, and I was like, do you want to pay the whole mortgage? I thought I was about to die. I had such anxiety. Like, I was crying, I was shaking. And he was like, yeah, you insisted on that. He's like, I thought it made you feel better. I'm like, it did. And right now I want to take it back, but let's just try for a month. And I was like, I couldn't, like, it felt like there was something blocking in my, from even swallowing or breathing. It felt crazy. Now it sounds crazy to be like, you, Mr. NBA superstar who made a bazillion more amount of money than I do, can pay the mortgage, because I hate the feeling of releasing that to someone.
Okay, y'all, we are back. So y'all just got done hearing the interview that she did. Like I mentioned, I never heard of them before, Balanced Black Girl podcast. And she, took back, recanted, if you will, her stance on 50-50. Let me give y'all a little bit of background as to how we got to where we are today regarding Gabrielle Union's statement on 50-50 as she now sees it today. I believe it was in 2023. It might have been a Forbes article or something that she did. I was trying to find it, y'all, and I'm sorry I couldn't, but I do remember the scenario. So in that article, there was talks about finances, and she mentioned why she was a believer in 50-50. Her and her husband, Dwayne Wade, got into some form of argument of some sort, and he basically threw in her face that it was his house, so, XYZ, something to that effect. They had some kind of disagreement. And for her, from that point on, she wasn't going to let nobody tell her that something was there. So she, from that point forward, she said, we're going 50-50 on everything. Now, mind you, both of them, not only do they have their household that together that they, take care of and they're responsible for, they also support other households. So that's parents, maybe nieces, nephews, siblings. So her money doesn't just go in for their household, and his money doesn't just go for their household. They're also supporting other households. And then in that interview, they also mentioned about the black tax, which basically is, if you're successful and you come from a black family, you're now responsible for taking care of everybody else, which that I'm not all the way keen on. I'm a believer in, teach a person how to fish so they can feed themselves for a lifetime type of person versus I am literally sponsoring you. Now, parents, I think parents you should take care of. That's just me. I take care of my mom. So that's just my belief in that. But anyway, going back to the 50-50. So it really was, as she said in here, was based on, now she's saying that was a trauma response, but back then she didn't say that. She just said that situation is what made her have that stance. And I guess for her it was a trauma, because even in this interview and in the snippet that I had, she talked and it was much longer, but I had to cut it down, y'all. She talked about feeling like she wasn't going to let somebody ever have that kind of control over her money, her body. She talked about being sexually assaulted and all of these things kind of playing a part as to why she tried to have so much control as much as possible. Now, y'all, here's my stance. I don't discount, the trauma that she has gone through, but if I'm being honest, when I was hearing her explain basically why she was no longer a believer in 50-50, it just really sounded like a long way of saying, y'all, I'm tired. I don't want to work as hard. I'm with this man that net worth is much more than mine, and I want him to take care of me financially. That's just really what it sounded like to me, because y'all, her net worth is estimated to be $40 million. His is estimated at $170 million. That's more than four times her net worth. Why on God's green earth okay, are you going 50-50 on somebody who has 4 more times money than you have? I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I guess I'm old school. I guess I'm traditional that way. But if we are talking that kind of money, we're not splitting nothing. Her husband, as a man, that's part of his responsibility as a man to be a provider. So it's on him, because in this interview she said, well, he said he was doing it because it made me feel better. What she needed to tell him was, when you said to me that this was your house, it made me feel away. That is why I wanted to do the 50-50, because I didn't want you throwing anything in my face. And that's really what it was. She didn't want him throwing anything in her face. Not that she truly believes in 50-50, especially when she's with somebody that's making way more money than she is. In her first marriage, she was the breadwinner. She was essentially the alpha and the male in that relationship with her first husband, who was also an athlete. He was a football player. But she's already come from where she was the provider. So I'm not thinking when she's with somebody who's making 4 times more than she is that she now wants to be the provider. That's crazy. Why would you want to be the provider when you are with somebody who has significantly more money than you do? That makes no sense. Like, y'all, they're estimating that Dwayne Wade annually makes between $3 and $3.5 million, to her $1 to $1.5 million. And don't get me wrong, I respect her talent, but she for me is not box office. So she's not somebody who is, getting like the $40 million a picture, $10 million a picture, $5 million a picture. Like, she's not that person. So her income is not coming in like that anymore. And she is an older actress now. Don't get me, her skin is phenomenal. She does not look, now she looks like she's done something to her face. Her face there's something about it I can't quite pinpoint, but her skin, she looks very youthful in terms of her skin. But I digress. So it doesn't make sense for her to even have been a believer in 50-50. And honestly, I don't think she ever was a believer in 50-50. I think that was just her saying, because she didn't want her husband, who I'm honestly, that's a jerk move for you to say that when you know your bank account is a lot heftier than your wife's bank account, for you to throw that in her face. And then now she's insecure, and instead of you coming back and saying, I don't care what you say, we not splitting nothing, I got it, you put her in the position where she is stressed out, and you can tell that the financial thing stresses her out. And I think, honestly, outside of her home and allowing her husband to take more of the financial responsibility, she may want to get some of them people that she is taking care of, she may want to get them off of her plate, because there's no reason at her age, 52 years old, to be that stressed out when you are with somebody whose net worth is more than 4 times more than yours, and you're that stressed out about finances. Something about that is not right at all. So in my opinion, there's a couple of things that she needs to do here. People need to start being able to take care of themselves. Like I said, parents are not included in that. And she needs to be okay with letting her husband carry the financial weight. He's her husband. He makes 4 times more. If she has stressors, finances should not be one of those stressors. That should fall in his bucket in my opinion. So again, y'all, just to wrap this up, she didn't really believe in 50-50, especially with being with somebody who had significantly more money than her. I think it was just a response to her feelings getting hurt because he made a jerk comment and she never circled back to let him know how that made her feel and for them to address it. Instead, she carried on years and years and years of financial weight and burden that she didn't need to carry as a married woman. So y'all tell me what y'all think. What do y'all think about Gabrielle, going from 50-50 or bust to now saying, you know what, I think I'm team 50-50. Share your thoughts and your comments in the comment section below. Until next time.
Please like, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.